Welcome, horror fans, back to the Week in Horror, December 8th through December 14th. Thank you all so much for joining us. I'm JL, and with me as always are Alex and Eugene.
What's up?
What's up?
So, we got some really, really cool stuff to unpack today. I wanted to kick this off. Some new information that I just found out is an article that I read that came out of SpectraVision, which is the company that was behind Mandy and the upcoming Color Out of Space. But apparently, and I wasn't aware of this at first, they're actually developing a Lovecraft Trilogy, which I'm super excited about. And I think it's going to start with Color Out of Space, and the next one they're going to be doing is going to be the Dunwich Horror. We do not know what the third one is, so I'm really excited about that, especially Color Out of Space, Nicolas Cage coming out. But I think that's going to be sweet. I just have no idea what the third movie is going to be.
Probably going to be like Cars 4 or something.
I'm assuming it will be a Lovecraft story. I'm just hoping they don't do something like Terrible Old Man or the Cats of Ulthar or something like that. But I'm hoping it'll be like I'm guessing it's probably going to be Call of Cthulhu, the big one where we actually see Cthulhu the monster, and I'm hoping it's going to be that. But who knows? I have no idea.
One can hope.
Well, yeah, Cthulhu's been getting a push lately in the last couple of years, so, be nice to see something. Studio, listening.
Did you ever see that video that they edited of, like, the Cthulhu sighting that was, like, in the fog, and Cthulhu comes out of the fog a little bit?
Oh, I've seen that video on those.
That was actually a pretty good edit on a video. I liked it.
There was I think I saw that on that YouTube content creator, I think Chills is what he goes by.
Yeah,
I think I saw it on one of his videos.
Yeah, I liked where he was going with that.
Yeah, so that's every time I think of Cthulhu now, that's what I see attacking the city.
That would be a short fight.
Yeah.
Well,
the city would lose hands down.
Well, hopefully we'll get what we want. I'm guessing it's going to be Call of Cthulhu. I think it'll be sweet. But we also have some major, huge news to bring to all these listeners, is that we are doing a massive, huge giveaway just in time for Christmas to celebrate Week in Horror reaching 500 followers on our Facebook page.
Woo!
500 followers,
Thanks.
yes. And we have this awesome giveaway pack that I put together that pretty much all kind of fed into, and a bunch of really, really super cool stuff. More details will be up on the Facebook page. So as we finalize everything and we get the rules as to how you're going to win this, it's going to be really, really simple. But look for it on the Facebook page. If you're already on there following, you get the daily splatter. You'll get the message from us as to how you can enter in and get your name in the hat to try and get this bloody Christmas giveaway box, which I think is really going to be awesome. All the details will be on our Facebook page at facebook.com/weekinhorror. You can check it out there. I'm fucking excited about this.
I'm excited too. I remember we were talking about okay, if we can get 500 by Christmas, and we got 500 well before then. So I'm super pumped and excited that y'all have been sharing, and we've been getting a lot of support and a lot of interaction on our website. So thank you very much.
Super cool. Thank you guys so much.
Super, super awesome. I can't wait to see the look on whoever wins face whenever they pop that box open. They see what we're going to throw them. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Because you'll be creeping in their bushes.
Shh, don't tell them how I do things. Don't fucking gaslight me.
Yeah, just give me your address. I'll send it to you.
All right, well, we got a really, really awesome week, and we are going to kick this bad boy off. And this is kind of a surprising one because we did not get to it during Thanksgiving. And that is simply because this movie did not release. I don't even know if you could call it a movie. But this little gem did not release until December 8th, 2008. And it was the Thanksgiving horror Thankskilling. Okay.
What is this? This could be interesting. Start the movie. Boobs.
Literally, was it like 10 seconds?
Oh, it's not even. I think it's like within the first...
Oh, it starts off. It's pilgrim boobs,
Pilgrim boobs, yes. Puritan boobs is what we got. And that's I think that's the best kind of boobs, because they don't want you to see them boobs, but we saw them.
There's so much going on in that initial scene if you break it down psychologically.
They're so shy and Puritan.
What does it mean? Nothing,
they were
bitch, you're getting stabbed.
And I'm sorry, they were hot Puritan boobs too. They really were.
You went there.
I did go there. Okay, she was running and she was butt naked and she had a little fucking Puritan hat and a little pilgrim hat on. It was fucking sweet.
It's the forbidden boob.
Clearly historically accurate.
It stirred something inside me. But anyway, Thankskilling released December 8th, 2008. It was a direct release to YouTube. And it was directed by Jordan Downey and produced by Kevin Stewart and Jordan Downey and was written by a team of guys. Kevin Stewart, Jordan Downey, Grant Yaffe, Tony Wilson, I think Brad Schultz, all kind of got together to write this bad boy. And I would love to go down the list of who it starred, but you really don't know any of them. But I do want to give a shout out because the lead actress of this, her name was Wanda Lust, which I think is amazing.
Yeah.
Because she probably does other things on the side.
For anybody who doesn't know, the movie is pretty simple. A demonic turkey is raised from, not really the dead, but a demonic turkey is summoned, and his mission is to kill all the white people. And that's pretty much what, and his name is Turkey, Turkie, but his name is Turkey. He's foul-mouthed, he's fucking disgusting, and he kills white people. That's what he does. And so he gets raised, I think, by like a dog pissing on him, or pissing on a totem pole that wakes him up. It was fucking crazy. And he proceeds to go on a killing spree. And they shot this fucking movie for $3,500, if you could believe that shit.
Oh, I could believe it after watching it.
I think all that money went into the puppet.
It had to have, because there was literally no other props.
So, so it quickly, but, despite $3,500 released directly to YouTube, this thing has become a fucking cult hit.
You don't say. Generally, it's, the whole thing is, it's a joke, and it's funny, but at the same time, it's not a terrible plotline. And I don't know. I haven't seen this. My buddy showed me this movie from YouTube because it was being followed by this group that had it seriously was like a small cult about this movie. But so he showed this to me on one of those, they get drunk and watch it and react kind of things. I thought this was gonna be stupid. And so they're literally getting hammered watching this movie, which is hilarious. But then I'm
trying to imagine you fucked up watching this movie.
No, that's what the people on YouTube were doing. I mean, I was too, but
reaction movies.
But so they play the movie, and then they'll cut away every whatever few 10 minutes, and then they'll talk for a second, and then they'll go back to it. So I got to watch the whole thing, and then listen to these drunk bastards talk about it. And by the end of it, when I'm 5 beers in, and I was just like, huh, this is something I probably watch again.
Now, it's grown so much. Do you know this motherfucker has a musical?
It does. And so it was made in 2009, and it was a YouTube, and it was $3,500, and now they have a fucking musical. Big things can happen with a small amount of money. That's the best part about cult films like this. Have you guys ever seen Wrist Cutters?
Yes.
Okay, so that was another one that was one of that was something that I got into cult films because of, and I was like, this is so weird, but it means so much to me that I will live by this movie, and I recommend it all the time, and I'll be like, hey, watch this. If you don't like it, fine. If you do, let's talk about it. And that's one of my big ones that I'm real into. I think Thankskilling is kind of.
I think the only reason that a film like Thankskilling, with a bloody rubber turkey that spouts obscenities and bursts out of people's chests like fucking Alien, I think the only reason this thing could hit cult status is because of the internet. We would not have Thankskilling without the internet.
No.
Okay.
Oh,
whereas
yeah.
John Carpenter's The Thing. The Thing is now a cult film. Okay, because when it first came out, it was shit. It bombed. It tried to go up against E.T. And I'm sorry, you're not gonna defeat that glowy fingered little shit. And
foreshadowing.
The Thing just fucking bombed. But now it's argued that it's one of the best sci-fi horror films that's out there. So But I don't think we'd have it without the internet, and without the internet, this is the reason we also have a sequel. Why Thankskilling got a sequel, Thankskilling 3, which is the sequel. Which is there's only 2 movies, but it's 3 because the plot of that one is that the lead girl is trying to find the last copy of Thankskilling 2.
Which never happened.
Which never existed.
So they went fucking meta on that shit. And I know that there's like fucking robot turkeys and shit. I don't fucking know. I actually haven't seen Thankskilling 3 yet. I do want to see it, but I have seen Thankskilling, and
it's on the internet. Hey, and like you said, the whole internet cult like collab. So you get to watch these weird movies, but then you get to anonymously talk about it with people. And so I guess you said that and it made a lot of sense because like there's a lot of weird stuff from the past that's now just catching on because you didn't want to like look like a weirdo talking about this weird thing with normies. And then
you have
and then you can go on the internet and you can just be like, hey, this was fucking awesome, and somebody else that you have no idea who they are, anonymously could be like, yes, let's talk about it, and then boom, there's 2.
There you go.
You could find the group of people that you could say at the very end when the turkey jumps off the table and says, I smell sequel, bitch. Or I think it was like, I smell sequel, biatch. That shit like that. Yeah, the people who enjoyed that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
because you had, at this point, right, the fact that it came out like in 2008, you starting to have the advent of the bad movie because, you had like The Room has already come out.
Oh my God.
Others. The Room. And, the bad movie really started taking off like around 2011, 2012 with like Sharknado, where bad movies have really become mainstream. Bad movies have always existed, but bad movies.
I'm losing brain cells the more you mention. No, Sharknado. Next is gonna be, it's gonna be Mecha Shark versus Giant Octopus. My fucking brain hurts.
Sci-fi, the bad movie channel.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark. Which I got a chance to meet him, and I got him to say, "Oh, hi, Eugene." Check off the bucket.
You know, he's a vampire, right? That's what he is. He's a vampire.
Of course.
Oh yeah. He dresses like that in real life too.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt that Tommy dresses exactly like that. And one thing that intrigued me is you have so much that goes into creating like villains. Okay, if you want to consider, Turkey was a villain, and so much goes into making them. And like Friday the 13th, a lot went into Jason, to developing the character. Same with Nightmare on Elm Street. A lot goes into that. There are some simple things, but surprisingly, making Ghostface. Some people think it was just a costume and a knife, but a lot actually went into that to design that and make it work. Whereas Turkey was a fucking turkey puppet, and making effective villains. On shoestring budgets. This is no Chucky, okay, where you're going full on animatronics and stuff of that nature, whereas Turkey's literally a rubber puppet with a dude's hand up its ass, flapping at the fucking camera. And
you're talking about shoestring villains though, but that goes all the way up to like Michael Myers.
Yeah. The thing is you can create a very, very effective villain on a little to nothing budget. And, there's plenty of examples that we've talked about on the podcast already, villains that have come from like almost no budget at all. And people like Sam Raimi and John Carpenter who's like made them work. I mean, I think it's funny because, obviously one of the big things is the kills and how the turkey kills people. And you can tell the ones that had budget and probably were early in production and the ones were like, well,
the chestburster one.
It's our 30th day of filming. We got $50. You got to make a kill.
Chestburster one was pretty good.
This one was 12 cents.
Because you had the one kid and like his tongue was ripped out and it like pecked him and tore out his heart. Another one that came through his chest. It was all gnarly looking, and then he killed one girl by just snapping her neck
after he raped her.
But you don't show that because of budget reasons.
I think that probably has a lot more to do with other reasons, but
Well, it just goes to show you don't have to spend a shit ton of money to make a bad guy or to create a villain in that respect. But you have to spend some. You can't spend because another film I saw that I recently came across, I was just trolling Amazon Prime looking for terrible fucking horror movies, and came across one I think called Soft Matter. And in that one of the monsters they had in it was literally a big guy wrapped in trash bags and doused with slime. And that was it.
Wow.
That was the bad guy. And it was fucked up because you could see the keds he was wearing.
I mean, granted, like, if somebody like that showed up on my doorstep, I'd be scared.
I was just kind of like, yeah, that's like that. So you got to spend a little bit of money, but you can create an effective shoestring villain, just a villain on like a super tight budget. And it also helps that they probably found a turkey puppet and just modified the shit out of it. Did stuff to it in order to make it effective. So, but
yeah, because it looks like they had like a full size puppet, and then they had like a hand puppet that they would stick their hand in so it could talk. Like nice tits, bitch, blah blah blah.
Oh yeah.
And then the full size puppet that they tossed around pretty much because he flew through the air a lot, kind of thing. But you know what? Sometimes you got to make it work.
Absolutely. Now, given that Turkey was a puppet, and in the realm of goofy, stupid puppet horror movies, because you got shit like Puppet Master, you got like Demonic Toys, you've got obviously Thankskilling, you've got Child's Play, just like with the puppets deal, and then you have like Ginger Dead Man or like fucking Evil Bong and shit. And my curiosity, I started thinking about that, so I want to know from the audience. This is what I'm going to ask the audience: is that if you think Turkey should fight somebody on the puppet level, like evil puppets. I'm talking in the vein of like Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong, because that shit fucking happened. That was an actual goddamn movie. Was Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong. Should Turkey fight somebody? I think Turkey should get his own versus. He's had 2 fucking movies. He's kicked ass through both of them. He's fucking a demonic turkey. You can't stop him. I think he should fight somebody. Personally, I think he should fight Ginger Dead Man. That is a movie that I actually want to write. I want to write that movie, and I want fucking the director to take that shit on. I actually contacted him on Twitter about that. He has not responded yet, which makes me sad.
But we will make it happen.
We could make it happen. Yes, that would be fucking sweet. What if Week in Horror fucking actually got money and we could actually fund a movie? It's got to be Thankskilling versus Ginger Dead Man. That'd be fucking sick. But what do you think, audience? We want to hear what you think. Who should Turkey fight next? If Turkey was in a movie Turkey was in another movie and he fought another puppet, what puppet should he fight? What puppet would he have a chance against? Could he take down Chucky? Could he take down Demonic Toys? There's a lot of them, but they're pretty weak. Who do you think he should fight? Let us know in the comments below.
Righteous. All right, moving on to another Stephen King adaptation. We've got the super cool car classic Christine. December 9th, 1983 is when that was released. This is a John Carpenter film. Stephen King wrote the novel. Ben Phillips wrote the screenplay on this one. Keith Gordon, John Stockwell, Alexandra Paul were all in this movie. This was one of the coolest things that happened in the 80s, because, cars are cool and scary movies are cool. Why not mix them together? And I don't know about you, but I'd love to own that car.
Oh, that's
a sexy car.
That fucking Fury is gorgeous. Hey, and don't forget, I want to give a shout out. He's one of my favorite characters. Harry Dean Stanton was in this, right?
Who was?
Harry Dean Stanton?
Yeah, he was.
I remember he played. I'm pretty sure he played the cop. He played the detective.
Cop.
Yeah, who was investigating. Yeah. He's one of my favorite all-time character actors. I think one of the last things he did, big like on the big screen, was in Avengers. Was in the first Avengers movie. When Hulk falls down, falls out of the deal and lands. He's the security guard that finds him. So like that was Harry Dean Stanton. He's cool. He was cool in everything he's ever done. I love that dude. I'm so sorry he passed a little while ago. But yeah, I just want to give him a heads up.
Yeah, so Christine was based in 1957 in Detroit. There was this red Plymouth Fury, and it causes like these accidents. Somebody dies in the assembly line. I'm trying to remember the first scene.
Oh yeah, the first scene it breaks somebody's. I think she breaks somebody's hand with the hood because she closes the hood on somebody, and someone else got in her and was listening to the radio and everything and ashed his cigar on her seats.
Yeah,
and then wound up dead. We're not sure how. They opened the car door and he just fell out, just dead. So yes, bloodthirsty car.
Yeah, and so years and years later, there's this dude that finds the car in this yard and picks it up, and then it just starts killing people.
That's one way to do it. Yes, that's one way to put it.
I mean, honestly, it's been a while since I've seen the movie, but I remember major bits and pieces about that because it was a super cool film all around. The feel of it was really cool, and then you got this it was something that I remembered, and then I was watching Supernatural the other day, and it was I was rewatching the first season, and one of the first things they do is a Christine type scene, but the alive car thing freaks me out because
an alive car.
We've talked about, AI is just terrible, and now you've gone from this car in the past to now, what if your smart car came to life?
Your smart car tries to kill you.
I think it was impressive for 1983, for the level of effects and what they were able to do at the time. Making the car appear alive was probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen in a horror film. I mean, I
want to meet the guy that straight up had to do all the programming and had to be there to flip the switches and make things happen, because there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, so there's actually, the car itself, it's a 1958 Plymouth Fury. And being a limited model car, John Carpenter actually put out memos trying to find as many copies as possible. And he was able to get his hands on 24 different Plymouth Furies.
He's the reason they're rare.
Yeah, I mean, it is, because out of the 24 he got, because he got some of them are good condition, some of them are in bad conditions, he was able to actually get 17 working models throughout, kind of thing. And of course, some of them were pretty destroyed throughout production and all this other kind of stuff. Everything like that. But actually, a lot of the scenes where the car was pulling itself back together and doing a lot of the supernatural stuff was actually added in post-production. It wasn't shot during the initial filming of the movie. And it wasn't until they basically watched it and goes, no, this car needs to be more supernatural. So they went out and shot some stuff and they used mounted hydraulics inside the car that would pull the car together and push the car out, and they would crumple it and then reverse it back in post-production and stuff. So all of that was added additional shooting on top of when the movie was first edited.
Well, that whole sequence in the garage when Arnie, after Christine has been totaled by the thugs, and she's just demolished. That car was destroyed, and so Arnie goes in there and it says the line "show me" to the car, and then Christine, the headlights pop off. The headlights pop up, and it's got that awesome John Carpenter, because I think John Carpenter did the music, did the composition for the film, because he's a composer as well as a director, so he does a lot of his own music, and he's got that sick, really minimalist, creepy score that he put with it, and she starts picking herself back up off the ground or off the floor of the garage, and she starts kind of filling herself back out, popping the doors back out, popping the hood, everything just coming back together. It was wild how they pulled it off. That really, for the longest time when I was young, it boggled my mind how they pulled that shit off.
That seems incredible. That was what they wanted to really invest in, because initially that wasn't in the film. That whole section where she was pulling herself back together, that initially wasn't in it. And they actually go back and figure out how to do it. In terms of some of the hydraulics, some reversing footage, and all this other kind of stuff, adding that in there. And to me, that makes the movie.
Oh, hell yeah. Because then you turn right around, and then after she rebuilds herself, you go right into the scene where she kills Moochie, the fat guy of the gang.
God damn it, Moochie.
And which was one of my. It was that one was intimidating and fun, but the one where she kills the leader of the gang when she's on fucking fire, and she's just trolling down the road like 10 miles an hour. Not even that, like 5 miles an hour, just right behind the bad guy. Oh, it's so fucking sweet. I fucking love that scene.
It's like, but think about that though, like the whole aspect behind like the car getting jealous, and it's just like they took like this type of film and they were like, how can we fucking change this? Like, hey Sandy, but it's not like a real person now. It's like this jealous car, and that's terrifying because a car will.
Oh, I like it. It plays in the idea that cars have. We give cars girl names.
Yeah.
And cars are girls, and we treat some people, they treat them better than they treat their significant others, and they're unique and they're special, and then they often have their own personalities. Just we envision, we kind of anthropomorphize them and give them their own personalities, and this she's got her own quirks. Things like that. When she's unhappy, she won't start, or something of that nature. And this one, Christine just takes it to the next level. That's why I love, it's such an easy transition to make evil cars. And, I know it's a common theme for Stephen King to take innocuous things and make them scary. He's very, very good at it. But I've always done because he also did, other evil cars. I think he did Maximum Over. I think the short story was called Trucks. And then Trucks inspired the movie Maximum Overdrive, and that's where all the vehicles on the planet pretty much start. Anything motorized pretty much comes alive and starts like taking over the planet and taking killing people.
Yeah, Transformers. I saw it.
Of course. Decepticon.
That had a funny ass movie where the kid gets run over by a steamroller or something like that. This shit was fucking hysterical. But that was a bad one. But my favorite, I love Christine, but my favorite evil car movie was the Car with James Brolin. James Brolin. Josh Brolin's dad. Yeah.
Yeah, Josh Brolin.
Cumberbatch.
And in that one, it's the same thing, but that car can't be damaged because I recommend that anybody who loves cars check that one out. I believe that one was a Lincoln Town Car that was completely done up. It was fucking amazing, total custom job, but that car was unstoppable. But I love the idea. I love the idea of cars, just the things because they look cool, especially classic ones. The Wraith was a really, really good one with Charlie Sheen, with a young Charlie Sheen, and that was a sick modified car that was all done up. And I think that's what bringing cars like that to film is always cool because you get to have a lot of fun with them and do cool stuff.
And so, like, when it comes to like the cars thing, like, are you talking like sentient cars or like movies that have cars or vehicles? Like Joyride was one.
See, I like him with the cars because cars are supposed to be under our control. We control the car. We tell the car where to go. We tell it when to turn on. And when the car is completely beyond the realm of our control, we don't control the car. And that literally takes an innocuous item that we often take for granted and turns it into something completely alien.
In Soviet Russia, a car drives you.
Well, because it's scary the amount of trust that you put into your car, just not even thinking about it, where you're going at highway speeds that can kill you, right? To go all these great distances, all this other kind of stuff, but you just get in it. I have full control. As long as I have control, and blah 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 blah. Then I'll go and be okay. And it's like, what if you're going down the highway at 75, 80 miles an hour, and your car is like, I don't feel like stopping anymore.
Oh, you think like real shit like that happens? What was it? I can't remember what car it was, but there was
no. I mean, in terms of like just like a sentient car.
Oh yeah, but there was a real life thing where people were
Toyota,
driving.
Remember?
Yeah, there was those Toyotas where they were driving, and all of a sudden the car would just gas it. And you
Toyota
couldn't do
always
shit.
Moving forward, even when you don't want it to.
And so, like, you'd be going along at, like, 20, 30 miles per hour, and all of a sudden, just the ignition would take off, and all of a sudden you're doing 60, and you can't stop. You're just like
that's terrible.
Yeah, like,
because
the car's
they
like, you know what?
accidentally opened a box with fucking demon ghosts in it that got into the fucking Toyotas, and they were like, oh, it's just a manufacturer default, even though they've been building fucking cars since, your great-great-great-grandma was born. And no, it's bullshit. It was demon cars.
It's those pesky Japanese car companies. Those Japanese ghosts are all over the fucking place. They get in the production design. They start proliferating all the way. Then all of a sudden, you got cars trying to speed away from their fucking owners.
They're just trying to fucking drive into the wall.
Yep.
Jesus.
Pesky Japanese ghosts. You get that clicking that boy makes.
I swear it started yowling at me before the gas went off. Oh.
Hey, remember that shitty gas station you stopped at on Route 5 instead of going the extra 3 miles to the show? We're not going to stop now.
Clearly, you deserve to die now.
That gas was tainted. Guess what? Boom.
So there's an argument on the internet that I absolutely love, and it's concerning specifically this car, concerning Christine. And I've been a part of this argument before. I know where I side on it. When you put cars versus cars, and I've always really, really dug that argument. I know who I would pick in the win.
What, in your favorite movie versus Christine? Christine versus the car? Who do you think would win? Audience, you tell us. Jared, who do you think would win?
Oh, honestly, the car. The car beats Christine every single time. As much as I love her to death, and I love that fucking Fury, I fucking love that model. It's big, it's huge, it's like a fucking boat, and she's gorgeous when she's cherry red. But the car is the devil, like literally on wheels.
So when we make it, I'm gonna buy you a red Plymouth, and we'll see where you stand then.
Dude, if you could get your hands on a fucking Fury,
58 Plymouth.
Don't even tempt me, because I'll perform.
I think it was a 58, right?
I thought
it was a 58, 1958.
58 Plymouth Fury.
Yeah.
Yeah, 58 Plymouth Fury.
I'll do things for you that you won't want me to do.
No, that stuff is for
You're
gonna
pay him to stop.
Subscribers. God.
You're gonna give me the car to make me stop.
It's a solid tactic, man. Fair.
The safe word is Plymouth.
Pema, help me.
What year, bitch?
Oh man.
Yes, Al.
Never mind. I take that back. I'm fucking keeping the Fury. I'm not even gonna bring it around you. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, I have a tendency to show up in the bushes, so I'm gonna be there.
Oh, good thing I'm moving.
Now, moving on, we got our next one coming up. This one released December 12th, 1997. It was a sequel to one of the most popular horror films ever made. Scream 2 came out this day. So, and of course, directed by the always amazing Wes Craven, capitalizing on the success of the first one, written also by Kevin Williamson, who wrote the first one, and brought back everybody from the first one as well. David Arquette, Neve Campbell as Sidney Prescott, our Scream Queen, Courtney Cox, Jamie Kennedy, and then added a whole host of other individuals. Sarah Michelle Gellar was in this one, Jerry O'Connell, I think Laurie Metcalf, was she the chick from Roseanne? I think she was in it. And of course, Liev Schreiber returned as well. So brought the whole gang back together for the sequel to Scream, one of the most unanticipated and awesome horror films ever made. And the plot summary was kind of the same. It actually was pretty much similar to the first film, whereas Sidney has moved on from the events of the first one, and now all of a sudden the killings start back up again, and it's the regular who is it? Who could it be? Everybody has a motive to be the killer. Anything, and of course it winds down to the expected twist at the end. I know there's pretty much, the moratorium on spoilers is over for a movie out in 1997, out over 20 years ago, but I don't want to spoil the ending for you, but there is the inevitable twist as to who could possibly be the killers. And I know that Scream 2 acted more as a bridge to Scream 3, because Scream 3 is when it really kind of changed it up, because they were following kind of like the meta rules of horror. So, but not a bad film. Not a film. There were things that worked and things that didn't.
Yeah, they it kind of kept that whole like meta feel, because now it's like, okay, it's a sequel. They basically say it's a sequel. They point out certain things about sequels, such as the more elaborate kills, the more higher body counts, and it definitely plays into that. A couple of things that didn't work were like some of the kills. You have some of these characters that were great from the first one, and then it's just like a gunshot to the chest.
Bye.
Like, really? Yeah, like that's it. That kind of thing. You have one of the killers that kind of has kind of a weak motive that you see in one scene, then you don't see him again until the very end. That kind of thing. And so you had some really solid moments in it, but yeah, there are definitely a couple of areas where just kind of fell.
Where it's just kind of like,
I'm not saying the bad movie. I'm just saying
there, because that felt really underwhelming.
Yeah, exactly. It was kind of underwhelming.
It was a little bit. There were some critics that thought it was better than the first.
See, here's the thing. I mean, here's the thing, though. Like, you're talking about a sequel to a movie that, you've got the killer, Ghostface. There's, in every movie, he's a person. We discussed, like, any other horror movie you think of, you're probably going to have some sort of supernatural element to it. This is kind of the first movie in the genre that kind of just takes a normal person with no superpowers. There's no, super training. They're not like kung fu artists. It's nothing. It's like a normal person stabbing people and shooting people. And like, yeah, that might seem underwhelming, but like, he's still killing these people. And these people are all dying. And in the first movie, everybody was like, holy crap. But I also know a whole lot of people that have seen Halloween, Friday the 13th, but they've never even watched Scream. And my girlfriend, if we're going on Netflix, like, her first instinct is to go to Scream, which I think is super sexy. But just the fact that it was like this, like, holy crap, somebody is just going around and killing people. We don't know who it is, but we know it's one of us. And you can't pick them out because they're not different than the other person. And so it's like this creeping around. It's super creepy. Like, you never know who that crazy person could be.
Well, because it adds an element of realism, because it's like Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees, they're like a specific entity. They don't exist in our world, and they're their own thing. But with Ghostface, how any person can just put a mask on and grab a knife, and then you're Ghostface.
Exactly.
That's how it is.
That's
so
just as scary as being stalked by some dude in coveralls.
Like the malleability of the character, how it's just the image of itself has become the icon.
It breaks down the trust of the group. It like puts this psyche on you. You're always watching over your shoulder. You never know, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're dead. It just like it happens so quick. Might seem underwhelming, but it's effective.
And it was effective enough that it overcame it, because because I remember Dimension had greenlit the sequel while the first one was still in theaters, and the script was kind of rushed, and somehow the killer's identities got leaked on the internet. So even in spite of that, the film went on to, I think it was like 170 million at the box office.
I mean,
so
that's still, even if you knew who the killer was, it'd be interesting to see how the group reacts to everything, and like, ooh, now I know, now I'm a part of the plan. I just got to keep my mouth shut.
See, that's pretty goddamn effective for, a villain who initially they were trying to come up. I remember reading that Wes Craven was trying to come up with ideas, and they were trying to figure out what the killer was going to look like. And they had settled on a masked killer, but no one was really super happy with it. They couldn't find anything that really worked, but they had settled for something. And then all of a sudden, while they were location scouting, they were in a house, just doing scouting for for shooting locations. And in that house, in the kid's bedroom, was that mask. And so that's how they found. Creepy. Yeah, that's how they found the face of how they found Ghostface. But just by chance of like,
insane.
oh, this will work.
The mask found him.
And apparently there was a huge battle to try and get the rights to use it. Because the company that made it was trying to play hardball, but eventually they did get it.
No, $5 million.
Yeah.
That's so cool, though. I mean, it puts that whole, even that story makes it so much cooler, but it puts, like, I think I would put Ghostface up there with some of the top dogs, like Jason. I mean, Freddy's kind of, like, super supernatural, but, more like Michael Myers, normal people. I think having that type of psychological terror on somebody's life counts as, like, horror. I put him up there with the horror icons.
Definitely. And given that icon status, so rumor has it, and this time it's not just kind of like an internet thing, it's not like an internet speculation, that rumor has it coming out of Dimension, or I'm not sure that it's still behind it after the whole Weinstein incident, but the rumor is strong that there will be a Scream 5. That the reason that they're trying to put a Scream 5 out is basically based upon the success of the TV series, and it kind of revived interest because in the third season of the series, they actually were able to get the rights back to the costume, and so instead of that goofy melted face mask they were using in the first two seasons, they actually brought Ghostface back, and so that kind of revived interest in the villain again, which I think the production company believes will revive interest in a fifth Scream movie. So Scream 5 is a possibility for 2020. Fingers crossed. I think we could use a good one, use another one, but that's what I want the audience to tell us. What do you think? Do we need a Scream 5? Does Ghostface need another entry in that franchise? Sidney Prescott's story has pretty much been told. All of her friends have moved on. It's been several years since Scream 4. So do we put Ghostface in another situation? Because Ghostface was so tied to Sidney. Do the two go hand in hand? Do we need to bring it back? What do you guys, let us know in the comments. What do you guys think? Eugene, do we need a Scream 5?
It'd be kind of interesting to see a Scream 5. I know throughout the production of the other Screams, the cast has been really excited about coming back. So I don't know how they currently feel about the series, but it's been a while. I think the horror scape has changed some since then, so it'd be kind of interesting to see if Scream 5, going back to the meta of horror, maybe taking on some of the more recent subgenres that have come out. Maybe make a little bit meta on that. I think that could be interesting.
What I've noticed lately is in horror, you can go meta, you can go quirky, but it seems to me that there's actually kind of a slide back to classic horror. Just like legitimate horror. Maybe with some psychological tropes, or maybe like, really, really better thought out characters. You have movies like Hereditary, movies like Mandy, where you can go miles deep into their storylines. But what if, instead of trying to do the meta thing, what if instead of trying to do the twisty ending like this, what if just Scream 5 just went straight legit horror again? Just classic horror. Maybe with a whodunit, who's behind the mask, but what if they went that direction?
But they would have to do it back in, like, the era. So they would need to go around and find a whole bunch of shit from, like, the 90s and then, like, base it in, like, the 90s. So, like, fucking, pink landline phones and... That'd be super cool. Go back in time and, like, actually do a horror film without the fucking Facebook and smartphones and shit, because now it's just all turning this technological horror.
Fuck that. I'd have my Sports Illustrated football phone. Thank you very much.
I think that could be interesting, though. Like, making a callback to, like, the 90s, the 80s, 90s. I've always loved horror movies that go back for that.
Well, you pick up where they left off. I mean, with the advent of technology and people understanding things a little bit better about, it's virtually impossible to get a killer to pull off what Ghostface has pulled off. I mean, the fourth one had the whole social media vibe where you've got killers who want to pull the shit off and they don't even plan on getting away. They don't even plan on escaping. They want the notoriety of the shit. Like they really don't have they know they can't get away, so they may as well try to work it to their advantage when they get caught.
Right.
Shit like that. I mean, it's wild, you know. But
it'd be cool to go back in horror and maybe like do some of this older stuff where it's not, where like you're saying, like true horror, make it scary. It can't be scary with, you know, your cell phone flashlight. So like, yeah. I don't know.
Well, definitely, audience, let us know. Do we need a Scream 5? Give us your opinions. We'd love to hear them.
Yes.
Maybe.
All right.
Maybe.
So, yes.
He's leaning a little middle.
I'm just saying, yes. Yes, please. So, the next one we have coming up, which I believe so far is the oldest film that we've talked about so far in the podcast. It came out December 13th, 1913. Yes, over 100 years ago.
That's when you were born, right, Jared?
Fuck.
Yeah. You might have seen this in theaters.
I'm so glad we've gotten past horse-drawn carriages. Those things sucked.
Fucking clomping on the cobblestone all day. Dun, dun, dun.
Although I'm still trying to figure out this bloody interwebs thing with the face space and the my books and.
But the movie we're talking about is a movie called The Werewolf.
Ooh.
Which is, this is the first ever film depiction of the werewolf, right? And it is about a Navajo woman who, after her husband leaves her, she becomes a witch and then teaches her daughter how to transform into a wolf so that as wolf form she can do her biddings.
So she can kill the white man.
Holy.
Yeah, so she can kill the white man.
Holy shit. God dang. Obviously, it's something like that. This is pre-code, and this is pre-World War One.
Yes.
Because World War One was 1918?
1914.
1914. So this is pre-World War One, definitely pre-code, like way before. So turn of the century, fucking shit like the fucking gold rush is going on when this movie comes out.
Fucking gold rush.
And that's in okay. And but think about that. You know, they're putting this on screen. You know, you're talking about they're Native Americans, still a very touchy subject. Okay, so Native American woman, probably played by a white person, and then you know her husband leaves her, and
that seems to happen a lot. This is
extremely touchy material, and then you have because it's running off the shapeshifter legend, but then Europeans, we carried the legends of the werewolf, with us from Eastern Europe. Those legends have been going on since time for God, but to bring that and be the first film, 1913, that's progressive. That's intense.
Yeah, because at the time they were throwing ideas on the wall to see basically what would stick. I mean, you had some of the first films were literally like, this is a trolley going through New York City, and like that was the entire movie. And people would pay money to go watch that. And so, like, some of the, for some people who don't know, some of the earliest films were just actually everyday life because people haven't seen that before. Just the act of seeing a movie was incredible. So, I mean, they just filmed, like, streets of New York.
Oh, shit. And that fucking train. The train that came at the screen.
You've seen it before.
Yes, and people freaked out. Like, holy shit. They thought the fucking
this is magic.
They thought the fucking train was gonna come through the goddamn screen.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And so, like, people blowing their minds, and you have some of these very, very, very progressive directors who, probably the very first type of director, this was directed by Henry McRae, were like, you know what? Let's actually tell a story with this. If we can actually edit some of the film, which the first film that's ever considered traditional editing was a film called Birth of a Nation, which came out in 1915. So this is before that. So you have some of these first films who are experimenting with the basic rules of cinematography and editing. And like, okay, we're going to see what happens and make this work. And they put it out there.
And
I'd love to see this movie on a projector.
Oh, fuck yeah. And most likely you've got actors who probably came up in vaudeville. Okay, they're pretty much all of them are going to be stage trained, and at that time it was still silent, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you've got vaudeville-trained actors doing a supernatural story in silent. So that's going to have the intercut, the intertitle screens. Where the story progresses through those title screens. So that would be intense, especially however they did the transformation.
And yeah, this is one thing, because the film was lost. We don't know.
Oh, that's wild.
We don't know.
Why don't you ask somebody that's seen it in 1913?
How was it?
I doubt they'd remember who they are, rather than what this happened in this movie.
Yeah. So one of the things that ended up happening is in 1924, the vault where Universal Studios kept all their previous films, actually a massive fire broke out, because film at the time was very flammable, unlike, say, film stock, which came out around the 30s. And so a fire erupted, burned down the majority of the studio, right, where they were housing all these prints and all these countless other films, to the point where 80 to 85% of all silent films that were ever created were lost.
Oh, devastating.
Just gone. I mean, it was people who were movie stars at the time, and they lost the entire filmography.
That's insane.
Like, I mean, just gone completely. And I mean, it's a travesty, because we don't know, some of the incredible stories, maybe some of the other landmark filmmakers and what they were able to do with the technology at the time, because, obviously they're not around anymore.
What
kind of thing?
What do you do? What could have been?
You gotta imagine what advancements might have been made in film.
If you could have studied many films.
Yeah, if you had to study basically the shoulders of all these, turn of the century filmmakers who, everything they did, all the tricks that they learned, all the little nuances that they figured out on how to trick photography, or things, shooting angles, and, funny stuff they did with the camera, just stuff like that, or forced perspective ideas like that. There could have been innovative shit that was in there that it would be years before it was discovered again, or maybe, who knows.
And a lot of the stuff is because, filmmakers always studying previous filmmakers. So you have a lot of stuff, but at that time, since there were no previous filmmakers, they were throwing stuff out there, and they could have thrown stuff that could have worked, that could have changed cinematography, could have changed editing, and that, as the next generation of filmmakers start coming up, would have taken that, and that may have changed, like how Alfred Hitchcock or Stanley Kubrick would have shot.
Oh, wow.
Kind of thing. These directors who grew up on silent films. So who knows what could have been?
That is so wild. I'm trying to imagine. I'm trying to imagine. You got to, in this era of time when motion pictures were so in their infancy. I think the early 1900s, these things are coming out. They're and you got to go to select places to see them. And in a time when people are like jumping out of their seat to avoid the train coming at the screen, or people screaming, great train robbery when the outlaw fires the gun at the screen. Mm-hmm. Really simple effect. There's no bullet in it. He's literally just firing his powder. Okay, so the guy points the gun at the screen, pulls the trigger, and it pops, and you see the smoke and everything, but people are like screaming because they think he's firing at them. So this is a time when people are doing this, and then you have the legendary monster, the werewolf, and this is like a few years after Nosferatu came out.
Oh no, Nosferatu came out after.
Nosferatu was 22. What was that 1922?
Yeah, it's like 21, 22.
Oh
like that.
Shit! So you've got this legendary monster. Okay. Still kind of etched in the minds of this is the untamed West. You've got tales of skinwalkers and shit from the natives, from Native Americans, indigenous people, immigrants who have carried these stories over, oral traditions from their families because they've immigrated from Eastern Europe and other countries, And so seeing this on screen, I'm trying to, with the legacy of this monster, I'm trying to just...
So you're talking about werewolves. Werewolf stories go back all the way to like 1550 BC.
Fuck.
And so,
Damn.
yeah, there's a huge gap between the first mention of werewolves in history and then the next mention. I'm going to mess up his name, but it's like Lycaon of Arcadia serves human flesh to the god Zeus, and he transforms into a wolf to get punished. And the term lycanthrope comes from that story, and so like Lycan has always followed werewolves from that point, anyways. But yeah, it goes all the way back to 1550 BC, and then you get all the way up into film, and you have this 1913 film come out, and it is the first one, and so it's this open floodgate of just wolf movies that come after it. The next one that came out was in 25. That was Wolf Blood. Werewolf of London was 1935. And then you've got movies in like 39, 41, 42, multiple werewolf movies coming out.
With the advent of sound, that's when Universal jumped on it.
Oh yeah,
and then that's when we got Lon Chaney as the Wolfman. Yeah,
yeah, and I mean, yeah, and then the 40s is just packed with him, and so like it just exploded as this monster that has been talked about for centuries, millennium. It just legendary monster by status. Like, this is a person that changes into this wolf that can just annihilate you.
Now, I wish that the legacy is enduring, so we're always going to get werewolves in film like this. I think, honestly, the 80s were the heyday, just because practical effects and shooting techniques like that to try and make things as realistic as possible. No CGI whatsoever. You couldn't generate shit on a computer, and so you've got like American Werewolf in London, fucking The Howling. Silver Bullet, okay, and I think honestly, The Howling is ultimately my favorite of the werewolf films. They've kind of gone off the deep end, with big puppy dogs and Twilight and CGI.
They are not werewolves.
Yeah, those are not werewolves. And I think the big CGI werewolf in fucking Van Helsing that Hugh Jackman turns into. I think
Underworld Evolution werewolves should go up against the Twilight werewolves and see what happens.
Oh, fucking destroy them.
Oh, I would pay money for that.
Hey, you guys remember Ginger Snaps?
Yes. Oh my god. Dude, you said Howling Werewolves versus Twilight Werewolves. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That's like
Underworld Werewolves.
Underworld Werewolves versus Twilight. That's like the fucking Winchester brothers rolling up into Mystic Falls.
Yeah, I would still pay money for that.
Definitely watch that. You would have my view.
Shut up and take my money.
I will like and subscribe.
But man, I definitely think, because I remember Ginger Snaps. I recently actually watched that. Well, I watched the first one, the second one, and I watched half of the third one because the third one was just atrocious.
Oh, it's over by then.
I only watched it for Catherine Isabel because she's super crazy hot. But Frig, I think the latest one I saw, the two latest ones I saw, was Bad Moon, which is pretty good because that played a lot more on the it's scarier that if you don't see it all at once.
That was great.
That was a decent one, and there was another one which starred a character actor that I absolutely love. I wish he was doing more work. I think his name's Tom DeMichi, and he was in Mulberry Road. He was in Mulberry Street. He was in Stakeland. And he's a native New Yorker. He's an awesome character actor. I wish he was getting more work. Yeah, but he was in one called Late Phases, where he plays a blind war veteran who basically kind of gets forced to move into a retirement community, and there's a werewolf kind of besieging the retirement community, and it eventually comes into conflict with this old blind war veteran who's fucking badass and shit. So, but that was a really, Late Phases was a good one. Bad Moon was a good one. But I think Howling takes it for me.
I had to do probably as a movie The Howling, but I'll definitely do the American Werewolf in London for the best transformation.
Damn it, that was mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could take Bad Moon on this one though, because that was a good movie.
Fucking I forgot Benicio del Toro in The Wolfman. And while I wasn't the film was okay, I thought the transformation was pretty decent, and the practical effects of the Wolfman itself I thought looked fucking fantastic.
That's fair.
When they didn't use CGI,
I can go with that.
When they didn't use CGI and they legit, it was the dude, it was the guy there in the costume, and just the makeup effects on that were fabulous. The CGI, not so much, but seeing the full-fledged monster right there, I thought was just fantastic effects.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, wrapping up the legend with a film that came out December 14th, 2007. I Am Legend. That's
Are you Legend? I don't think you
am. Are you the Legend?
Are you the Legend? In your own mind?
Where are we? Director Francis Lauren, writers Mark something, because I'll never pronounce his last name right. Protosevich. Can anybody pronounce that name?
Close enough.
Anyways, Will Smith is in this one.
I wasn't even gonna try.
With Alice Braga and Charlie Tahan. I'm sure everybody's seen this. This was one of the biggest movies that came out that year, wasn't it?
It was pretty huge.
It was.
Oh yeah.
It was. I think it was Smith's blockbuster of that year.
I think that was but yeah. So this film follows scientist Robert Neville, who's trying to find a cure to a virus that spread, and he comes in contact with these creatures that cannot go out in the sun, and he needs to find a cure. He stays back on an island when the whole island's evacuated, so he's got this whole island to himself, and he's trying to find a cure, and just has a super badass Mustang. Gets to drive around in his little 305 or whatever he's got, and shoot these zombies. I don't know. I thought this was a really good movie, and on recommendation, I paid $2.99 on Amazon to watch The Omega Man to compare, because that was the original film that was made after the book I Am Legend.
Yeah, that was actually so. Both of them being off of a book, the first adaptation of it was called The Omega Man, starring Charlton Heston, right? Obviously huge star. Amazing. Yeah, a legend. One of the greatest actors to grace the silver screen. And so he goes and he takes on the role. He takes on the role basically like a bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
So when you guys were like, you got to see this movie, I watched it, and I did not expect it to be. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't realize it was like an older film, and so when I started, I was like, whoa, wait, what? And then it just, keep going. Sorry, it was great.
Yeah, that one. The Omega Man played closer to the book than the Will Smith I Am Legend did. There were some differences taken, but the general consensus was it was a lot closer to Richard Matheson's book than the Will Smith film was.
Yeah, because with the Will Smith film, they deal with they're more like creatures kind of thing, and you don't even really see anything from their side or their perspective because they're just creatures, they're just the bad guys. Whereas Charlton Heston is they have more of like a people aspect to them. Kind of thing. They're first of all, they look like people. They actually have clothes with hoods on and all sorts of kind of stuff. They seem more organized than kind of you had the one creature that kind of led them in I Am Legend, but they seem more organized here.
I think they were photophobic, because I think in the Will Smith one, I think they were more vampiric, where sunlight actually hurt them, could damage them. But in In the Omega Man, they were more just like light was uncomfortable for them. They couldn't see very well, and it just hurt their skin because their skin was just sensitive from their mutations, and so they just preferred the dark.
Versus they're not going to burst the flames or anything like that.
Oh, damn it, they're not going to sparkle?
Oh, God.
We got werewolves and vampires now.
Now, in that sense, because we mentioned Richard Matheson's book, I Am Legend, and then obviously, the first adaptation, Omega Man, then it went on to the blockbuster film, I Am Legend. But with the book, this is the thing that got me, is that with the Omega Man, it had its down ending, and Charlton Heston is left in the position. I don't want to spoil for anybody who has not seen it. It's a classic film, and of course Will Smith, that kind of ended on a down end. He ends up sacrificing himself for to save the cure. But the book, in the sense, neither one of those films really play off of the reason the book is titled I Am Legend. And what Richard Matheson did is he was flipping the idea of the monster being the legend, because throughout the book, Neville spends years trying to figure out this cure and basically kind of like he's trying to figure out a cure at first, but eventually pretty much winds up just killing these what he sees are these creatures. Now, unbeknownst to him, while they've been in the dark and all of the years that have gone by that Neville has been alone, they've been adapting and they've been organizing. They've been learning to recommunicate. They've been developing their own society. But as the years go on, generations of them die, and of the monsters die. Generations die. Stories get told. Oral tradition continues, and then all of a sudden, that's where the title comes from. I Am Legend was, at the end, Neville realizes that he is the monster in the story for them. He is the one. Don't go out. Neville will get you. Neville's out there. And he becomes the legendary monster. Hence the I Am Legend. How it only takes a simple matter of perspective to ascertain who is the monster like that. And Matheson did a really, really good job of flipping the script and putting our hero in the juxtaposition of saying, "Oh my God, I'm the bad guy," because he realizes at the last minute that the world is not going to change. You are not going to change it, and now you have become that which you thought you were trying to destroy. Everything you're holding on to is gone, and this is the world now. But they seem to drop that off in the Omega Man, and especially in the in Will Smith's blockbuster film, they dropped that aspect to it, which really bummed me out.
Yeah, they went for like the Hollywood kind of good, evil, straightforward, black, white, instead of getting a twist of like, everybody's a hero in their own story aspect of it, which to me, that's way more complex. You have two sides that fight each other. Both sides think you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, but
kind of thing from their perspective.
I would like to contest that it didn't follow that, because the main monster guy and Will Smith seem to, like, right before the end of the movie, they seem to have like an understanding of each other, like where they stand. You know what I mean? They're like, their attitude towards each other right at the very end was like, maybe like respected each other.
I think you're right. That they hinted that the monsters were far more intelligent than Neville was giving them credit for.
Yeah.
And I can see how they hinted at that there was a level of intelligence there that he hadn't considered. Now, there was an alternate ending to the Will Smith I Am Legend.
Oh yeah.
Where I think that really did fully explore the notion, and it wasn't overt. It puts Will Smith's character, puts Neville in the situation where he realizes he's been the one who's the monster. Because he has the female that he's basically kept her strapped up, and he's experimenting on her to try and find a cure. And the other ones who are out there have simply been trying to rescue her and get her back.
Right.
And Neville and he may have that, and they don't go overtly, but I think they subtly set it up that Neville has the dawning realization that he's been the monster the whole time. He's the creature, but because the monsters in that movie, they don't talk. They communicate through screams and yowls and yells. So there's really nothing to really bridge that gap, because in the book they spoke eventually, and I think in the Omega Man they also spoke, or they kind of redeveloped their ability to speak.
Right.
So.
Well, let me pose this, right? Doing an interesting twist on the I Am Legend part, where so at the end where he realizes that the cure works, and you has the leader of them on the other side of the glass, and he's like, stop, I can cure you, and the leader of them is like growling and all this other kind of stuff, and I think the initial thought is like the creature doesn't understand. But just to twist it, just a what if the creature did understand that he had the cure and basically rejected it?
There's nothing to cure.
Exactly. There is nothing to cure.
No,
we are who we are. That could be kind of an interesting viewpoint to see that.
That could open things up for a sequel.
Oh. You know who won't be in it? Will Smith.
Damn it.
I'll side with him on that. Oh, hell no.
All right, so with all these different endings on this movie, this book, the other movie, which is your favorite? I personally prefer the original Blockbuster one.
I will probably I like the book ending. I like that twist in it.
I actually got a side. I actually like the book ending myself as well. It was deep and it was nuanced.
Well, nothing better than a good book, I guess.
Yep.
Audience, let us know what you think.
All right. Well, we got a couple birthdays today, right? The first one, born December 8th, 1950. We have the legendary special effects makeup artist Rick Baker, right? Who his career is just incredible. You're talking about Planet of the Apes from 2001, Men in Black, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, The Wolfman, which we have already talked about.
Look at that.
He went... But stuff like The Frighteners, and it's just an incredible filmography of dressing people up, making them explode, body parts, all kinds of awesome stuff. With Ed Wood, so he's worked with so many legendary directors. Just incredible career he's had.
Oh, it's amazing. He was he won the first Academy Award for Best Makeup. That they introduced that award in 1981 for the 1981 Academy Awards, and he won for his work on American Werewolf in London.
Yeah, I was fixing to say, because with all the werewolf talk about, because the first transformation is just brutal, but American Werewolf in London, he did The Howling also, which we've already talked about, the Wolfman. He's just, if you need a werewolf in your movie, he's the guy you call.
He's first up. He's won 7 Academy Awards for his work in special effects and makeup design. So impressive.
That's crazy.
Yep.
That is just that's crazy. It took, how long did it take Leonardo to get one?
Oh, leave the poor guy alone.
He is great. He is great though. So definitely a happy birthday, Rick Baker. Keep up the good work, and we will call you when we need a werewolf.
Oh, absolutely, yes. If hey, you can come and design our turkey for us.
Perfect.
Yes.
I want a Rick Baker turkey. That'll be sweet.
I'll take one Rick Baker turkey, please.
We got $3,500. What can we get?
Happy birthday, Rick Baker. We also have another one. A legendary actor. It could become legendary a very short amount of time. He's actually been acting for a very long time, but he kind of, I guess, came over here to the States. Born December 12th, 1949, we have happy birthday to Bill Nighy.
Bill Nighy.
Yes, totally awesome character actor from the likes of Shaun of the Dead. He was in the Blood and Ice Cream trilogy from Edgar Wright's Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and he was the voice of the aliens in The World's End.
World's End, or the
obviously the Underworld series. Amazing character actor, loves playing monsters and such like that, and of course it's that in my eyes, it's that wonderful, dry British delivery that pretty much sells anything that he does.
He can tell you you're gonna die with such class.
You've got red on you.
You've got red on you.
So, or Davy Jones. The things he brings to a performance, just the either little facial tics or the way he looks, the way he emotes, or he'll come like when he was the vampire guy. It was like there's just the way that he brings a character to life and adds those little bits and pieces that make it so much fun. And I've seen a lot of his early stuff when he was just working, when he was just another working actor in Britain, and he brought that. There was the same British dryness you expect from actors like Hugh Laurie, from Stephen Fry, from Rowan Atkinson, but he just had a new way of delivering it that wasn't bumbling like Rowan Atkinson. It wasn't overtly satirical like Blackadder or the Monty Python cast like that. But he just had a kind of stilted British delivery that was both everyman and kind of subtle in its approach. That maybe there was more there. There was some depth there, and he capitalized on that. And I think he's been a smash hit here in America ever since. I mean, so good.
Absolutely.
So good. He actually brought depth to his Detective Pikachu role.
Absolutely, I agree.
So fantastic stuff. I hope we see. I hope we. I love that fucking movie.
It was a great movie.
I thought that the Seven Oracles voice coming out of Mewtwo was a little weird.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of strange, but I don't know how many people are going to get. I don't know how many people are going to get that reference. But that one kind of threw me off. I was like, "What? We're never-ending story? No, Artax." So, but yeah, I love the guy and everything that he does. I hope we get him a lot more. I mean, he was born in 1949, but I hope he's got a lot of steam, and I hope we get a lot more from him. So, happy birthday to Bill Nye.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Bill.
And to wrap it up on birthdays this week, we've got December 14th, 1948, Dee Wallace.
Oh, I love this girl.
Oh, yes.
Scream Queen.
Yes.
Scream Queen for sure. But also in a movie that we have talked about previously tonight, The Howling. She was in The Howling.
That movie just keeps coming up.
I know.
It's a werewolf night, wasn't it?
I know. Is it a full moon? That'd be so cool.
I tell you, while she was great in The Howling, and I love her so much. I mean, obviously she was in E.T., but she made her name in horror, and I honestly think Cujo was.
I was gonna say, let me guess.
Her one of her best performances, probably hands down.
Oh, absolutely. You take somebody and you put them in a role like that, and they absolutely kill it. Like that's an actress.
I mean, that movie was pretty much on her because it's like, okay, you're in a car, you have a kid, you have the dog. We got to make this work, and she sells it.
Oh, she killed it. It was like, I think the only other time I've seen an actor be in a situation like that and sold a fucking movie to me was Colin Farrell in Phone Booth, because that legit was Colin Farrell in a fucking phone booth.
That's like...
and I bought that movie hook, line, and sinker. I was like, this motherfucker's a fantastic actor. If he can make me think that, it's like, holy shit, it's a fucking phone booth. Oh my god, this is so intense. This is just a girl. This is a woman and her child stuck in a car. And outside, there's a big giant dog outside, but there's nothing supernatural about the situation. Simple as deal. And just the
spoiler alert.
Well, I mean, everybody knows Cujo. I'm not gonna say how the movie ends, or especially how the book ends, and the book ends differently from the film.
Oh, totally.
But her ability just for strength, weakness, and the entire spectrum of just the condition.
Oh my god, absolute fear, terror for her child, like all of it, the whole range.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally spaced, man. She was in Critters.
Yeah, she was in
the first Critters film. Leonardo DiCaprio was in the third Critters film. But we mentioned him earlier, but she was in the first Critters film. So yeah, she's our Scream Queen.
Attack.
Did she cut?
Oh yeah.
Was she in the new one? The new stuff that was released?
The TV movie, yeah.
No shit. I haven't had a chance to see it yet. That's fucking amazing. That's fucking sweet. But I'm so glad that she's doing that. She's working consistently with Rob Zombie a lot too.
Wasn't she in 3 from Hell?
She was.
Yeah,
she was. She was in 3 from Hell as a brutally mean fucking prison guard. And I think she was in was she Lords of Salem? She was one of the witches in Lords of Salem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was.
And in Rob Zombie's Halloween remake, she was Laurie's mother.
Yeah. Man. She just did everything.
Oh, and she kicked it off. She was in the original Stepford Wives in 1975.
Yeah, dude, she was on a lot of TV shows too, like General Hospital, Grey's Anatomy, like all sorts of shit.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, that's just an incredible career.
Amazing lady. I mean, I love her horror films. You know, Hills Have Eyes. The original Hills Have Eyes.
Oh, dude. Oh.
Yeah, fucking goddamn. I think she's in one of the alligator movies, like the killer alligator in the sewers. I think she was in one of those.
Okay.
Yeah, she was on an episode of The Twilight Zone also.
Oh, no shit.
From the 1985 series, yeah.
She was the mom in E.T. Like, if nobody's ever heard of her, that's who she is. That's who you're going to know her by, but... Yeah,
the mom in E.T.
She's so absolutely cool, and I hope we get a lot more. We get a lot more out of her. I love seeing her. Every time I see her on screen, it just takes me back, and I'm glad that she is.
A whole bunch of stuff coming up, so.
I'm glad that she's seeing work. She deserves it. She's oh my god. I'm sorry. I happened to glance at her at her television filmography, and she was on fucking Chips, man.
Yeah, dude.
Holy shit. She did an episode of Chips. That's fucking cool.
You know, out of all the things you're gonna say, because like scrolling through it, out of all the things you said, you're like, oh man, I thought so many things I was not expecting you to say Chips.
Well, I mean, it's like that. She did Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Fucking.
New Chips movie was good.
She was on Taxi.
Yeah, on the TV show. Yeah.
God damn. Twilight Zone. Yeah, Murder She Wrote. Oh yeah, I'm checking out those episodes. I actually have access to that series online, so I'm actually gonna find that. I gotta find those episodes because I want
We've lost JL.
She played.
Fell down a rabbit hole.
I can't tell you how much I love this girl. But yeah, I hope we get a lot more from her. Definitely.
Oh, absolutely. So happy birthday,
definitely.
D. Wallace.
Happy birthday,
Happy
D.
birthday.
Well, that is pretty much it for Week in Horror this week. We want to thank everybody out there for listening, for making it through with us. As always, any feedback, comments, questions you might have, feel free to direct them to our Facebook page or check out our website. We'd love to hear what you think about the show. We've got our 500 follower Bloody Christmas giveaway. News on that, it's going to be up on the Facebook page here soon, and we'll let you know how you can enter into that and you can win. As always, you can listen to us on Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts, Anchor FM, Broadcast, anywhere you like to hear your favorite podcast. We hope you check us out on one of those. And as always, facebook.com/weekinhorror. Hit that follow button, and you can get our daily splatter, which is a little bit of horror history sent right to your feed every single day. I want to thank you again so much for your continued support. We will see you next week. I am JL.
Thanks, guys. I'm Alex.
I'm Eugene.
And have a good night.